They like the guy who goes forward, and he never goes forward, even when he has guys hurt. And he backs up a lot. He uses his jab. He's got a really nice left hand. He's got a really nice 1-2. But it's few and far between. I don't see him taking that style out of the UK.
Welcome into Boxing Scene's top stories here on ProBox TV. Download the ProBox TV app. Never fall behind in your boxing news. Well, Jack Catterall pitched a virtual shutout over Regis Prograis last Saturday in their 140-pound showdown, which sent their careers in entirely different directions. Looks like Catterall will be making noise at 140 pounds, maybe against Teofimo Lopez, perhaps Liam Paro, his opponent. Regis Prograis looks like he might be headed to some bare-knuckle promotion, might be done with boxing at least at the elite level. Well, the two champs going to help me deal with this situation are right now somewhere very, very special, and that's right, Belfast in Ireland. You're looking at the SSE Arena. That's where we will be November 1st. McCrory versus Carrillo, of course, the hard puncher versus the Irishman who has fought 16 times on home soil. How does he handle it? We'll find out November 1st. But the champs, that's right, Chris Algieri, Paulie Malignaggi, already there. I'll be joining them there tomorrow. They're in their hotel rooms. Chris, let me start out with you. A lot of people talking about how bad Regis Prograis looked as opposed to Catterall looking great. What are your thoughts on it?
You know, when we talk about this fight going in, it was Catterall we were talking about, who really doesn't specialize in looking spectacular as much as he specializes in making you look bad. And then that's sort of, I felt like, could be the case in this fight. And Prograis, of course, like the champ said, he's been making himself look bad the last couple of fights. You know, he's looked a little bit old. He looked a little bit long in the tooth already. And Jimmy, you make a good point about possibly bare knuckle, because you know what, bare knuckle is shorter fights. You know, as you get older, you still have the a little bit of the fight left in you. You have the know-how and the wherewithal to do it. You have the talent and skill to do it, but your legs just don't take you through 12 rounds the same way. But in a bare knuckle fight, the fights end up being a lot shorter, so you can use those skills very well in a bare knuckle fight, if your hands don't break, of course. You know, so hopefully Prograis, if he goes that direction, I think it could actually work out well for him. I think boxers have a lot of advantages in that sport if they don't break their hands. There's a lot of good hand skills that can be used from boxing into bare knuckle. But for Prograis, I mean, for Catterall, it's once again he becomes the fighter who makes you look bad. But are we going to get a guy who puts up that spectacular performance? We haven't had that quite yet from Catterall, but he certainly injected himself consistently into the world title picture, into the world-class level. I don't know how excited people are going to be to fight him. I think that's still wrong. He's still one of the best fighters in the world, so ultimately he deserves a shot at a major world championship. And in the mix, you know, for all intents and purposes, he probably won the first Josh Taylor fight as well. So there's a lot that I want to see from Catterall. Yeah, okay, there could be some things to complain about stylistically, but guys, it's a very tough, difficult guy to beat, and it's a good weight class we got here. It's also a weight class where guys can't really stay at the top. It's of late, it's sort of been a revolving door where, you know, there's a lot of good fighters, but they've been consistently getting knocked off. We'll see where we see with Catterall.
It looks like Liam Paro might be the best fit. They both have a relationship with the zone. Of course, Liam Paro coming off that huge upset win over Cibrel Matias. What do you think aesthetically would be the best way to go, Chris? What do you think the most entertaining fight would be for Catterall moving forward? Is it Paro? Is it perhaps Teofimo Lopez, who is out for a little while for undisclosed reasons? What's your thought on it?
Well, I mean, Eddie Hearn was calling out Teofimo Lopez, which makes sense. He's more of a cash cow than anyone else in the division. So that fight makes sense from a money situation. But Liam Paro makes sense in terms of what's most logistically easily to make. But that's a tough fight, man. Liam Paro's he's a tough out. You know, he's a southpaw. He's good. He knows how to box. You know, he got a lot of momentum. He's coming off back-to-back stellar performances. He's overperforming time and time again. Very, very tough fight. And Champ, I'm going to push back on what you were saying about Catterall. I don't see Catterall winning fights in America. I don't see him leaving his backyard and being able to pull out decisions, because the guy just does not engage enough. And we've seen it time and time again with a lot of judges lately. They like the guy who goes forward, and he never goes forward, even when he has guys hurt. And he backs up a lot. He uses his jab. He's got a really nice left hand. He's got a really nice 1-2. But it's few and far between. I don't see him taking that style out of the UK. UK, they like boxing a lot better. They understand, when I say boxing, they like guys who are boxers. I'm not saying the sport. They understand footwork better. They understand ring generalship better. They understand the idea of boxing and moving. They appreciate the sweet science way, way more than we do over here. I don't see Catterall's style coming over here and being as dominant as he is. I don't know. Call me crazy, but I don't see that.
That's a good point, Chan. That's actually a good point. You know, it's unfortunate that the idiocracy of our judges, you know, are going to cost us that, of course, because ultimately it's just called boxing. It's not called follow the leader. It's not called the man.
Not knocking Catterall at all. He's a good.
Yeah, he's a fighter that you know there's a lot of praise for Catterall in that regard. I mean, and anybody who's difficult to beat, no matter how they get there, ultimately you got to respect it. I know that people say, okay, yeah, they want to see some fighters be more exciting and whatnot. Okay, so like I always say, make your favorite fighter go and beat him. Make your favorite exciting fighter go and beat him. Like I said, this is called boxing. I'm not gonna make excuses for the guys who are craftier and better to not get title shots or to not get the big fights, because the idiocracy of the fan base or the idiocracy of the judging suddenly can't understand the technicalities and nuances of boxing. We've never had that before in the history of the sport, where all of a sudden the fan base got too dumb or the judging got so dumb. So we need to keep that up to par as well on the American standard.
Oh, that's going to be the question. Of course, the future of Jack Catterall, not just in the UK, but across the pond. Can he have success in what is becoming an increasingly exciting weight class at 140 pounds? And as he makes those decisions, gets his next fight, it makes boxing news. And we'll talk about it right here on ProBox TV.
November 1st, ProBox TV makes its European debut in collaboration with Conlan Boxing. This stacked card starts with hometown fighter Padraig the Hammer McCrory returning to the ring to take on the hard-hitting Colombian Leonard Carrillo. And in the co-main, the UK's Robbie Davies Jr. clashes with former two-weight world champ Javier Fortuna of the Dominican Republic. Live from the SSE Arena in Belfast, Northern Ireland.
For more ProBox TV, scan the QR code on the screen or go to the App Store and Google Play. ProBox TV, your boxing channel.